this episode of Squirrel Garage, we will be spraying the clear coat on the three wings, which are the back roof spoiler, the UUC red spoiler, and then the carbon fiber that we prepped in the previous episode for clear coat. We'll spray all three with clear, and we'll do 15-minute coats. Spray a coat, wait 15 minutes, spray another coat once it gets tacky. The weather today is pretty nice, so should go fairly smoothly. So let's get to it. So we'll wait 15 minutes, let that tack up, and then we'll tackle the next coat. So while that's drying outside, we'll start working back on the M3. Have a new belt from O'Reilly's. Could not find the Gates racing belt, but this one will work. This is just a regular belt. It'll be fine for now for our purposes. I also have a coolant pipe adapter which I bought. Turns out it's the wrong size for my coolant pipe. I ordered the OEM size and forgot that the Supercharger coolant pipe on this one is slightly bigger. So I have a new one coming. Should be here either today or tomorrow. I'm hoping today, so I can get that back in. But we'll go ahead and start putting the new belt on, which is the next thing to start putting everything back together. So let's go ahead and put this belt back on. Flips over. There. Flips over the actual Supercharger. And it fits just nicely. Just like it should. And we can bring the tensioner up and put it into place and get the bolt back on this and ready to go back to. Tensioner goes down, bolt goes back in. We'll just make sure that's fully tight, and the Supercharger belt will be good to go. and we are ready to start reassembly. While I'm doing reassembly on this, I will be adding all the DEFI gauges. We will end up running the one DEFI gauge off of the oil tap here, and then the oil temperature gauge I'm actually going to run, after research, going to run in the oil pan drain location. Heard that it's the best location for the oil temperature since it's a constant temperature down there. Also, let me show you guys. Here we go. Belts back on, tensioners on and tight. So we are good to go for the supercharger. Everything's back together. So now we can start reassembly. I also bought a new coolant reservoir. As most know, the E36 has their coolant reservoir up here that attaches to the radiator. But I am going to relocate mine here where the windshield washer bottle was. Run a whole new one. Hide it, get it away from the actual radiator. And I'll be documenting that too. Also, once that comes in, that should be in next week. We'll run this hose up there, run all new lines over to the radiator, and we should be good to go. Let's raise coat number 2. You can see that clear coat has gone on amazingly. It lays flat. Going to be minor sanding and minor wet sanding at the end of this project. It's just come out butter smooth, and that's all due to prep. As long as your prep is good, your paint will be good as well. You can see that carbon fiber, you can see how wet it looks. That's the look we're going for on this. So we are very good. I have just a little bit more left of clear. I will use that on the carbon fiber portion of the wing. You guys can see or not, but we're going to take this oil tap that's on the side of the oil filter housing. We're going to remove that so that we can prepare for our oil pressure sensor to go in. We'll clean out all these threads as they look to be a little dirty, but we'll clean them out and we'll get the sensor ready to go back in. We let the rest of the wing dry, and we'll wait for the carbon fiber to have one more coat of clear. The other two parts that we already painted red are completely done. So we'll let those dry and cure outside till they're dry to the touch. We'll bring those inside and then we'll let them sit. I usually let them sit for about a week before I start hitting them with sandpaper. We'll use a 2000 grit, knock any high spots down, any orange peel. There doesn't look to be any orange peel on the wing, so that's perfect. So just a minor sanding, then we'll cut and buff, and we're ready to install. Okay. Well, we have our oil pressure sensor from DEFI, and we have our adapter for the oil cooler cap. As you can see, this actually fits in here perfectly, screws all the way in, and then this will screw into the side of this, and we'll reinstall the oil cap. But before we do that, we need to put some Teflon tape on both the oil pressure threads and the adapter threads that go into the oil cap cooler. This will prevent any oil leaks from happening, and this is your best way of doing every single threaded item that has oil. Helps everything from leaking. As you can see, we got Teflon tape with the oil pressure sensor into the adapter, and we have Teflon tape on the adapter that will go in the oil cap here, and we'll just drop it and hope that it still works. We'll screw that into the oil cap here, and we'll give it a good tighten down. Then we can reinstall the oil cap onto the car. So let's get this tightened down and get it back. We'll put the new bolt and new gasket on, and we'll slide this in. Luckily, this oil pressure sensor actually fits right under the S50 intake manifold. So once we get all that, we'll just tighten this down, run this clip for the harness up and out of the way right now, so we can run the rest of the wire with the rest of the sensors once we get to that point. This again will get zip tied up here out of the way once we're done, and we should be good to go now. We'll just move to dropping in the radiator and waiting for the expansion tank to get here so we can run that and get that one all set up too. Have the radiator back in now. Looks right at home. We will need to swap over the electric fan off the stock radiator, which just involves cutting these little clips off. That's not a problem. I just get new ones from O'Reilly's to slip in there. And once that goes on, then that'll go on the front, and we'll be good to go for now. The hose down here, if you can see it, this is the one that goes to the stock coolant expansion tank. We will be moving that one up and over here to the new aluminum tank once the aluminum tank gets here. It should be here first of this week, so we should be able to throw it in real quick and be good to go. But for now, that's it. I'm going to go check on the wing outside and see where the wing outside is, see how much it's dried, see if we can start bringing stuff in to cure and dry overnight, and we'll tackle that tomorrow. On a side note, picked up a spare bumper. Had a friend Target parting out a E36 M3 and snagged this pretty little thing yesterday. Had it all loaded up in the X5. As you can see, it has the brake ducts on the back side, and I got the matching inner fender liners with the brake duct hosing to go on here. We're gonna have to modify everything to fit since these wheels are larger than stock, and to get those to fit without rubbing or rubbing through, gonna be a challenge, but that will be a video that we will tackle also. So this bumper will get prepped, painted, just like the parts that we just finished today, and we will get that bumper on here. And little surprise, some homemade carbon fiber right here that will most likely be used as block-off plates for the bumper. So we will see how that comes along, and that will be another video. The end of this episode of Squirrel Garage. Our wing that we just clear coated is drying outside. I'll bring that one in tomorrow, let that cure for the next week or so, then we'll hit it with some sandpaper. We have our radiator in, we have our oil pressure switch in, we have our oil cap cooler on, new filter. We are just waiting on the coolant adapter and the aluminum radiator tank. Once those two get in, we can finish this up, get it all bolted, get it ready to start again. I'm going to put the oil temp sensor, as I said before, in the drain plug. So once we get to that point, I'm going to do an oil change. We'll put that in, and I'll walk you through step by step on how to do that. We'll run our wires at that time and get all the sensors hooked up. Thank you for watching this episode of Squirrel Garage. Thanks for subscribing below. Can't wait till the next video. See you guys.